A new era. Lawrence Merlino, Nicky Scarfo, and Philip Leonetti were acquitted of a slain mobster associate, Vincent Falcone. The Godfather Angelo Bruno was slain in front of his home in 1980, and his successor Philip Testa would reign as the new Godfather. He would make Peter Casella his underboss and Nicky Scarfo his consigliere. Philip Testa assured several associates would be officially made under the Emerita ritual. This would include Philip Leonetti, Salvatore Testa, the Narducci brothers, Philip and Frank Narducci Jr., and also the Merlino brothers, Chuckie and Lawrence Merlino. This will also include more mobsters that very ceremonious night. As a new soldier of the Philadelphia crime family, Lawrence Merlino would see the whole criminal underworld change before him. He and his entourage were on cloud nine. They got away with murder. They had unions in their pockets and gaining types of rackets. Gambling was legalized in Atlantic City, and mobsters were starting to thrive more since tourism grew larger within their city. The city of Philadelphia will lose another Godfather in less than a year. Phil Testa will lose his life in a nail bomb explosion. Now, Nicky Scarfo will become the new Godfather of the city of Philadelphia, and Chuckie Merlino will be the new underboss of the Philadelphia crime family. Now, Lawrence Merlino will later be promoted to Capo in the ranks of the crime family under the Nicky Scarfo regime. The war. Lawrence Merlino would now have to participate in more illegal rackets. He, along with many other crime family members, would collect funds from criminals as a form of street tax under Scarfo to ensure other criminals that nothing would happen to them. However, a war would unfold by one man who refused to pay the street tax. That man was Harry the Hunchback Riccobene. Therefore, Scarfo declared war against Riccobene's entourage, and violence would roam the streets of Philadelphia. Lawrence Merlino would participate in this war. Here is the story of the Scarfo and Riccobene faction. Scarfo would travel to Philadelphia and meet with the captains left over from the Bruno and Testa regimes to discuss the family's new hierarchy. Nicky Scarfo would name his close friend Salvatore Chuckie Merlino as his new underboss, and Testa loyalist Frank Monte to the post of consigliere. Me, Chuckie, and Lawrence were the only ones who knew what Pete Casella had told the Chin. This is Vincent the Chin Gigante. About the plot to kill Phil Testa. My uncle was afraid if Salvi knew, who was Philip the Chicken Man Testa's son, if Salvi knew, or even Frank Monte, they would kill Chuckie Narducci immediately. My uncle says, we're gonna kill him. We're just gonna not kill him yet. Scarfo decided to send his consigliere Frank Monte and the treacherous Raymond Long John Mortorano to see Harry's younger brother, Mario, Sonny Riccobene. Within the order from Scarfo that Sonny helped in setting up to his brother to be killed, the move backfired. Instead of joining the assault against his brother, Sonny Riccobene went to his brother and warned him of the pending plot to kill him, and who was involved. The Hunchback's response was loud and left little doubt that he was no more willing to go toe-to-toe with little Nicky. Now we're going to show you another way the story's been told, and this is from George Anastasia's point of view. So please understand that this may be a little redundant, but here's a little bit of different depths of how George Anastasia builds the story. According to George Anastasia's Blood and Honor book, Scarfo, whose connections in Atlantic City had helped forge allies with members of the powerful Genovese and Gambino crime families in New York, had outmaneuvered Casella and Narducci. By the end of March 1981, word once came down to the Philadelphia from New York, Nicodemo, Little Nicky Scarfo, was the new boss. Scarfo named Salvatore Merlino his underboss, and Frank Monte was appointed consigliere. For those who may not be familiar about the hierarchical structure, many people pay attention to the mob boss, who is the number 1 position. The underboss is the number 2 position, and the third boss is the consigliere. While consigliere may be positioned at number 3, they themselves are known for giving more advice to the main boss, number 1, than the actual number 2. They serve a very pivotal role and have ways of trying to convince the serving boss of what their advice is, or other people in lower rankings. That is the position of the consigliere, whereas the underboss is like the vice president. They're just a sitting position to wait their turn if they ever need to appoint or step in as the new boss for a temporary or permanent time. In April, after several attempts to ambush Harry Riccobene had failed, Scarfo decided on a more insidious form of treachery, and he sent his consigliere Frank Monte and Raymond Long John Mortorano, then a suspect in the John McCullough murder, to see if Harry's half-brother Mario Sonny Riccobene. Mario knew Long John. They both were in the methamphetamine business. What Mortorano and Monte proposed was that Mario to set up his half-brother up. Mario listened, and he said he'd get back to them. And then when he went back to his brother Harry, and that said, Nick the Crow Caramondi, was what forced the Riccobene War out in the open. For the next year and a half would rage on the streets of South Philadelphia. Harry Riccobene had been cautious and suspicious of Scarfo. He had hoped to avoid open warfare. It was only after Monte and Mortorano tried to co-opt his brother and Riccobene decided to act. Once Mario Riccobene was approached, he had just 2 options. He could either set up his brother, or, like his brother, he could become a target. At this point, Scarfo had backed the Riccobenes into a corner. It's them or us, Harry Riccobene told his brother. It's either kill or be killed. Let's get them before they get us. Mario Riccobene's answer was delivered to Frank Monte, a service station in southwest Philadelphia, on May 13th, by Joseph Padula and Victor DeLuca, 2 Riccobene associates. Padula was lying in ambush in a camper mounted on the back of a small pickup truck. The truck was parked across the street from the service station where Monte had left his car. Padula had a .22 caliber rifle with a telescope sight. DeLuca and another associate waited in a bar nearby. Shortly after 9 p.m., Monte showed up in his car. Padula got him in his sight and squeezed the trigger, and squeezed again, and squeezed again, and squeezed again. Monte, 49, was shot 5 times in the back and head. There were also bullet wounds in his left hand, right arm, and upper right arm. The mob consigliere had $600 in cash in his pocket when police found him lying semi-conscious in the streets near the gas station at 9:30 that night. He was pronounced dead a half hour later. Monte's name was near the top of that hit list drawn up by the Riccobenes after Mario was approached that spring and asked to set up his brother. The Riccobenes, in turn, were on top of that list prepared by Scarfo and his henchmen. For the rest of 1982 and all of 1983, squads of gunmen cruised through the streets of South.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.